welcome to the channel. Today we are going to be looking at Disney Dreamlight Valley and how I felt after playing the game for 10 minutes, 1 hour, and 10 hours. Since I am a person who does not have a lot of time to play games, I think that it's really important to highlight the differences in the times, since my opinion and motivation to play could change from 10 minutes to an hour, and then it can change again at 10 hours. Please note that I'm reviewing Disney Dreamlight Valley earlier than some of the other games I have reviewed, which use an in-game calendar system. I usually try to go through an entire year in-game before talking about it in a 10-1-10-1 review. However, since Disney Dreamlight Valley does not use an in-game calendar system and relies on the real-life time, I will default to my 10-1-10 format. This review is of course subjective to my experience, but it should give you information on whether or not you might like the game and if it's worth your time. I won't be rating it on a scale, but I'll definitely discuss things I like and things I wish it did differently. Since Disney Dreamlight Valley is available on multiple platforms, please note that I am reviewing the PC edition. Without further ado, let's get into the review. Disney Dreamlight Valley is described as a life simulation adventure hybrid, which is developed and published by Gameloft. In this game, you can grow crops in your garden, collect furniture and clothing, fish, mine, craft, and go on adventures in different parts of Dreamlight Valley with a variety of Disney and Pixar characters, while forging relationships and revitalizing the valley to the good old days by customizing how it looks. The game also has a multiplayer mode where up to 4 people can visit each other's valleys. Disney Dreamlight Valley retails for $39.99 USD and currently has 2 expansions, A Rift in Time and the Storybook Veil. For this review, I will be focusing on the base game. However, just note that I did unlock Eternity Island from A Rift in Time DLC. I found that unlocking this island added a new place for me to explore, some new things to collect. However, it didn't really change my gameplay in any significant, meaningful way at the time of this review, besides adding this fun game called Scramble Coin, which you can play with the characters daily to increase your rank and get new board pieces. It should also be mentioned that the game does have a shop feature with premium currency called Moonstones, despite being a paid game. You are able to get some of the premium currency just from playing the game without purchasing it with real money. However, it does take a long time to accumulate. After 10 hours, I accumulated about 3,000 Moonstones, which is enough to buy some items in the shop, such as a Figaro pet companion who follows you, or an outfit. But if you really want more of the fancier things, then I'm sure you're going to have to spend a lot more time or just pay the money. The story starts with you arriving abruptly into Dreamlight Valley, a place that has been covered in night thorns after an event called the Forgetting. It's up to you to free the Dream Castle from this curse and return the memories of the inhabitants of the valley and beyond. Although you're really not sure why you're so magical or why you're there, the game does tell you later on how you fit into all this. While you live your life, you are tasked with restoring the pillars in different biomes, which used to protect the valley from dark magic. As of this review, I have not completed the story yet. So with that general knowledge, let's talk about my experience. Spoiler alert, I had such a great time in the first 10 minutes that I didn't even think to record what I was doing, so I'm going to show pretty generic footage in this section. In the first 10 minutes of playing, I was able to create my character and be transported to Dreamlight Valley, where I met the wizard Merlin. He's a forgetful wizard who encourages you to unlock your potential and try to clear the night thorns. Already, the gameplay is snappy and I love how your character can go around just clearing these thorns and gaining star coins, the game's currency, and some seeds that you can later on plant. The tutorial consists of an on-screen text with photos that you can read, and I think it was pretty easy to follow along and pretty standard for these types of games. After an hour in game, I was still playing and having a great time. It was fun to explore the valley and see what you could find. There are plenty of flowers and fruits to collect, which you can sell or use in crafting and cooking recipes. Sometimes you have the chance to unlock recipes, clothing, and furniture items from digging in glowing spots, poking around character houses, completing chests, and opening chests that you find in the world. I found the royal tools, which allows me to fish, mine, garden, and dig. These tools allowed me to gather more materials than just the ones that you can find growing around the valley. So after that, I fixed up Goofy's stall in the meadow and Scrooge McDuck's shop in the plaza area, Goofy's stall is super important because it's the place where you can sell whatever you have collected, grown, cooked, etc. After getting that, you can head over to Gooch's shop to spend money, and he rotates his selection daily based on real life time. The game also introduced me to upgrading buildings, as you can upgrade any building with a Scrooge sign in front of it. I upgraded Goofy's stall, which added new seeds to his inventory, so you can buy them directly from his shop. During the hour, I also met Mickey Mouse, who was pretty sad because his gal Minnie disappeared. I went fishing, cleared more night thorns, and I had the chance to decorate my house to make it look less terrible on the inside. The game introduced me to the friendship system where the characters will increase their level if you interact with them, give them gifts, hang out with them, and complete their quests. You can assign a character a role starting at level 2, so if you hang out with them while going about your day and they have a specific role, they will give you bonuses based on what that is. So I made Mickey a gardener, so whenever I was planting my crops and harvesting them, sometimes he would give me a little bonus and give me more crops in return. Another thing that the game introduced to me was how to unlock areas by using Dreamlight. Dreamlight is obtained whenever you complete missions. These missions are relatively easy and can be completed as you naturally play the game. So as long as you're doing something, then eventually you'll get enough Dreamlight to unlock new areas. Of course, you can also be more targeted in what Dreamlight quests you complete, so you can go check the missions in the menu. I like that there is a wide diversity of ways you can collect them, so you're not forced into playing the game a certain way. After 10 hours in game, I unlocked a variety of different areas in the valley, such as the beach, the forest, and the glade, and completed their area requirements to free the corresponding pillars from the night thorns. I was able to clear the night thorns around the dream castle and went to my first world. I picked Ratatouille since there was a broken down Chez Remy restaurant near the plaza, and I was curious to see whether Remy would fix it up. In the world, Remy had me cooking recipes and completing a few dishes for dinner service. After living my Parisian dreams, he agreed to come back, and Chez Remy was finally operational after I invested my star coins into renovating it and running around to get ingredients for Remy's cooking recipes. During the 10 hours, I also recruited a variety of different characters such as Ursula, Donald Duck, Kristoff, and even Mother Gothel from Rapunzel. Honestly, my 10 hours flew by really quickly, and there is just so much more to do in the game since I think I'm nowhere close to completing the story. At this point, I had quite a number of different quests and objectives to complete. A lot of things were locked behind having to pay for it with star coins or unlocking it with Dreamlight. So I found myself spending a lot more time finding ways to make money so I can unlock more characters by paying Scrooge to build their house, or collecting Dreamlight so Merlin can help me with the thorns. Of course, this is inherently part of the gameplay loop and the entire premise of Disney Dreamlight Valley, so just be aware that there will be a lot of repetition depending on how you choose to play and how quickly you want to unlock things. I want to talk about what I liked about the game, some general things I wish I knew sooner, and what I wish the game did differently. So let's start with the things that I like. As of this review, I like the gameplay loop so far. There are quests that characters will give you that involves you having to do something for them. I definitely can see how the game can become quite grindy in the future, and I don't really mind the grind as much. However, I know that this could be a major turnoff for some people, so that is something that you might have to consider. I like the freedom of being able to customize the layout of the valley in any way that I want. I can move houses, add furniture and decorations, change how the paths look, basically make Dreamlight Valley my own. The overview menu can be a little wonky, however, moving things around is generally pretty easy to do, and I've had no major problems with redesigning the layout to be the way that I want, with the exceptions of the paths, which I will talk about later. I like how satisfying the fishing in the game feels. The minigame is pretty easy and it doesn't take up a lot of time to do. Another thing that I like is the ability to create food dishes without having the recipes unlocked. If you like experimenting and adding things to the pot to see what you can make, it feels really satisfying whenever you're able to just make a dish. Here are some things I wish I knew sooner. The first thing you may have noticed is that I played all of my 10 hours in the nighttime. All my clips are during the night. I was pretty bummed out that I was not going to be able to enjoy Dreamlight Valley in the day since the game clock syncs with the real life clock. However, Turns out that there is a setting to offset the time of day in the graphics tab, so I do recommend using that if you're like me and you only have time to play in the wee hours of the night. I didn't really start hanging out with any of the characters until Merlin asked me to restore the Pillar of Friendship in the meadow. This, of course, is something that I wish I did sooner, since depending on the character's role, they give you bonuses for whatever tasks you are completing. Also, when friendship levels increase, you also get neat specific character items, and they may have a quest for you. If I didn't increase Mickey's friendship level, for example, I would not have been able to start working on the quest to save Minnie. Another thing that I wish I knew sooner was the ability to use the fast travel system from anywhere I wanted as long as I opened the map. I made the assumption that I had to go to a well to teleport to another well. However, the game lets you open the map and teleport at will as long as you've unlocked the well at whatever location you're trying to go to. Speaking of wells, I learned that you can just move them. This is actually pretty useful for me to change where I spawn whenever I use the fast travel system. Moving wells to inaccessible areas allows me to access whatever materials were blocked off as well, and you can always move them back whenever you're done so you're not stuck on the other side. It also makes accessing different buildings and shops a lot easier whenever I place a well next to, say, Goofy's stall or my house. Lastly, I would suggest just building a bunch of storage chests and hoarding a bit of everything, because you really don't know what you're going to need for quests. I had to take a lot of time waiting for specific collectibles to spawn in the world so I can continue quests, because I just sold those same collectibles to Goofy stalls. Also, if you want different colored customized chests or other things, then that requires a lot of flowers. They don't always spawn, so I think it's really important to just collect them all and dump them in a storage chest until you need them. And here are some things I wish were different. So I wish the key items such as quest letters or things that cannot be sold but you have to keep in your inventory until you complete a quest had their own separate inventory. I also wish the selection in the game was a bit easier and more responsive. Many times I struggled to reposition myself to dig a spot on the ground, plant a seed, harvest, and select characters to interact with. I would have to do the little wiggle dance just to have the little action button pop up. So if they can make it a little bit easier to select something, then I think that would be really great. I don't like the path system that they have in the game. You have to place a path down and click on the arrows on the path to drag it. It's a little bit clunky and not my favorite. The quest tracker only highlights one quest at a time, so I wish that it had the ability to highlight another one or maybe 3 if I wanted to have all my wishes come true. Although I can understand not wanting to fill up the UI with information, I think that the text from the quest tracker could be a bit smaller so another quest could also be displayed without taking up too much of the screen. The game likes to give you a lot of quests, so it can be difficult remembering what you need to do without a quick glance. Lastly, there is a part of the story where you do not have access to Goofy's stall to sell things, or Scrooge's shops, or anyone else's house in general. I wish that there was a warning prior to this happening, since I felt pressured to grind and get the needed materials to move forward so I can have access to these things again. So it comes as no surprise that I will continue to play Disney Dreamlight Valley, and it was definitely worth the price that I paid for it. I think that it's a quite fun game, and the Disney characters are so charming, and I just love hanging out with my favorite ones. However, I also do not think that this game is for everyone. Since I do play a lot of farming simulation games that require you to do the same thing every day, I am a bit desensitized to repetition and the grind. Disney Dreamlight Valley has the potential to be grindy based on what I'm experiencing so far, so if you're not interested in repetitive gameplay loops, then this game might become a little bit tedious. However, I think that the cozy factor of being able to customize how the valley look and craft furniture to decorate everything is a big plus for gamers who love decorating their towns and showing off their creations. If you do not mind going at a slower pace and having things at a much slower time, then the grind is not going to be as evident as if you wanted to unlock things right away and buy a lot of things right away. Well, there you have it. If you like what you saw and think this game is for you, I recommend you give it a try. If you like what I do, drop me a like and a subscribe if you haven't done so already. This really helps the channel get more visibility from other people who might be interested in checking out the games that I review. Thank you so much for making it to the end. Until next time, I'm Nessa, and this has been a 10-1-10.